What you are seeing before you is the sad end of a business tactic that Games Workshop began to implement years ago. This is the Eldritch Omens box set, a set containing new miniatures by Games Workshop in an attempt to promote both Craft World Eldar and Chaos Space Marines. What you are seeing is an attempt to sell more, but at a higher price percentage point than previous bundles from the past. Was not always so, and these box sets in the past were major contributors to the rise and restoration of Games Workshop in the market. They knew they needed to bring back consumers and bring in new consumers when 8th edition was running hot. I've not touched much on 9th edition in videos before, but it has been controversial as of late, as many players feel as though 9th edition has driven them out of the game. What's fascinating is 9th edition also seems to be the beginning of the end of a successful business practice by Games Workshop. It's the end of the boxed army versus army releases in many senses. Much like Icarus of the past, they flew too close to the sun. In 8th edition, there were a whole host of Versus box sets that did incredibly, and not simply Dark Imperium. Forgebane, Tooth and Claw, Shadow Spear, Wake the Dead, Wrath and Rapture, and even Prophecy of the Wolf were all big mainlining box sets that came out in 8th edition. Each one sold incredibly well, too. Some people buying multiples of them at very low prices and with a great deal of joy at doing so. Aggressively priced and with a high volume of models, customers acquired an incredible series of deals, and it drew people back into the hobby who had been in the wilderness for a long time. This policy appears to have been successful, but where did it start to change? Some might look at the release of Blood of the Phoenix as the beginning, which appeared as a box set with very few adopters and sat on shelves for an extended period of time. Its biggest problem seems to have been its sticker price more than anything else. It still offered a very good deal per miniature, but it was just too much. And for the two factions at the time, they didn't have enough players seeing value in its overall contents. However, I would argue that the policy shift really began to appear in 9th edition. Indomitus appears to be a box set that really struck home with value and hit a pair of audiences craving their contents, though the Marines, of course, more so than the Necrons. You can see, since the start of the 9th edition box sets, after the core starter sets were established, we had a series of releases of Games Workshop over its duration. Piety and Pain, Hexfire, Shadow Throne, and coming to a store near you, Eldritch Omens. Now, what is the issue with these boxes? If we compare them to their older release counterparts, the answer is honestly simple. They are on average giving out less models for the same money, or they give out less models for more money. They are smaller and they are leaner. This also extends to the Black Templar box set as well, and to a lesser extent, the Kill Teams boxes. What has this led to? The answer is unfortunately predictable. There are fewer people interested in these boxes. They draw less players into the hobby, even if they offer some discount, because the deals are no longer obvious. They are no longer capturing those audiences as assuredly. It also doesn't draw in new players in the same way either, trying to invest in a new faction not related to the starter sets. The new tactic of sales is that they are now being used to exploit exclusivity as a means of selling their value. Basically, the idea of getting them early so you can fully exploit the characters and units, now locked behind a paywall in these boxes, and a timer for the real release. This means for tournament players especially, it's vital to get the contents of these boxes for certain builds. But it's all based on the fear of missing out. But what if the fear of missing out slowly starts to vanish? What happens when these limited edition box sets, even the ones with seemingly decent value, don't move? What would that look like? The answer is actually complicated, because the majority of Games Workshop sales would actually appear unimpacted at first. The majority of business these sets would be doing would be at the store level or through online retailers, at a local Games Workshop, at your local rogue trader, or through your favorite online distributor. These boxes would become inventory, and more often than not, inventory for third-party sellers who are left holding the bag. So sales are deceivingly strong, but it's not an uncommon sight for even popular boxes to appear below cost with resellers both and in brick and mortar spaces and online spaces being stuck with them and trying to move them. So now we get to the core of this video, the true question and why it was made. Is this a trend? And is Eldritch Omens a price too far? Honestly, I'm not sure how the community is going to fully react. For myself, for various reasons, it's a dead on arrival. I think it offers very little value for a very large price tag. At the rate charged, I feel no fear of missing out. If I want Rangers, I can buy them in a few months and not have the other units tacked on. There is the usual gnashing of teeth, but we will see. Is Eldritch Omens going to end up as another box set collecting dust on shelves of overburdened local game stores? I honestly hope not. For the sake of local game stores, I hope this box is a success. But it does open a bigger question overall. What will Games Workshop's plan be to shift their business practices? Because we are seeing it unravel in multiple systems. There is not enough value for many gamers, and even if sales are deceptively strong, it is going to overwhelm their partners at a local market level eventually, which will begin to slow down buys from Games Workshop if this continues. On a final note, I would say the real solution is to stop trying to exploit exclusivity, and to go back to the model that worked in 8th edition, which was giving people a good deal, a truly good deal, on miniatures in order to capture both new players and veterans and help them build their collections. But I'm just one bear on the internet offering his analysis and 2 cents. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed your time here, please consider hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. I should also add that we run live streams every single day, and we'd be more than happy to have you join us. I've been the Big Red Bear, and you all have yourselves a great day.
This was not our destiny. Times change.